Okay, so when we decided that we needed this for our research program and our clinical work, we set a very short time frame to get it in prior to last year's Spring Carnival and Melbourne Cup. And I actually didn't think that would be possible, knowing how universities work and how difficult it is to get any building work done. I was not concerned about the company's ability to deliver. But we got everyone focused, and we did manage to get it in time. I was very impressed with both our builders and the company, who are a relatively young company and were working on the other side of the world for only their third install, and everything went really smoothly, and we did manage to get it in time for the Melbourne Cup. So it was installed in October. We imaged 5 horses, both front and hind fetlocks, prior to the Melbourne Cup, 3 of which were eventually scratched and 2 were allowed to run. And clearly that caused quite a lot of controversy about the system and what we were doing. There was a perception that, there was a perception that it was because it was a relatively new technology, that we really didn't have the experience to be able to make the decisions that we were making. But what people didn't understand is that we'd had CT at the University of Melbourne since 2005, and we'd been doing adult horses under general anaesthetic with CT since 2012, and we've got a large database of post-mortem material, which I'm going to talk about a bit later. So we felt that we had at least some handle on what we were doing, and were able to make some calls on whether these horses were safe to run or not. And so it informed an important part of trying to reduce the risk. We were lucky; we had no injuries, no severe injuries in the Melbourne Cup. We did have 1 pelvic injury that has since recovered quite well. But we didn't have any lower limb injuries, thank goodness. That may be luck rather than good management, but it's important that we keep trying hard to lower the injury rate. It's important to understand that our current pre-race usage is only in horses that have clinical indications, so lameness, heat, or effusion. You could argue that catastrophic injuries occur in horses that don't have those things, but we do know that when you've got when veterinarians have been alarmed by something in the horse's leg, or concerned by something in the horse's leg, that those horses are at higher risk. So we thought we'd start with the highest risk horses first and develop our experience with those before we moved on to imaging wider, and hopefully having more data to be able to do that in horses without clinical signs. We are only doing the fetlocks. We're not going up and doing the hocks and carpusses for these horses, mainly for speed, and because it's rare to get catastrophic injuries associated with the tarsus and the carpus, although you can very occasionally. And it was not the only reason for withdrawing a horse. So it was just more data that was added to the information that the regulatory vets already had before they made a decision to withdraw the horse. It was never done purely on the CT alone.